When most people think about deaf or mute people, you think about hand movements and a lot of hand gestures. That's sign language. So I know most people know what sign language is, so I'm going to go in more depth and detail about sign language. So, according to Gaudet University Library, American Sign Language is said to be the fourth most used language in the United States. So that's a lot of people that use sign language as their form of communication somehow. So, because a lot of people use sign language, like you see it a lot, like even if you're not paying attention, it's still there. Like in big speeches, like presidential speeches and stuff, you see that the interpreters interpreting, and in like concerts and things, you see them a lot interpreting because so many people rely on that. But you gotta think of who uses sign language. So not only the deaf people or mute people, like there's people like that are just hard of hearing, that if their hearing aids stop working, that they have to rely on that sign language for communication. And there's also with special needs people, it's a lot easier for them if they know sign language or taught sign language to get a thought across to someone else, because they can be thinking something but not able to get that out to someone else. And so having sign language is really helpful there. So my cousin has Down syndrome, and so he's about to turn 15. So when he was younger, my family had taught him some sign language, that way he can communicate with us better and we could understand him. Because he would get so frustrated because he knew what he was thinking and what he wanted to tell us, but he couldn't say it because he didn't know how. And so learning sign language, different signs, really helped him. Like for finish, this is finish, your palms open and you close them. So when he was finished with something, he would tell us by that, so we knew he wasn't just taking a break, but he was just done with whatever he was doing. So that helped a lot in our communication. But sign language hasn't always been what we think of today as sign language. So it's evolved a lot, just like the English language has evolved. So if you think about like Shakespeare when he talked, like if we started talking like that, people would look at you like you're crazy, because that's not how we talk anymore, because it's evolved so much since then. So sign language has done the same thing. And it's like when now my generation is talking in text. So LOL, JK, like that's in the dictionary now. Like our language is constantly evolving. So ASL, the American Sign Language, isn't just a literal translation of English. That's not what it is. It's a totally different language altogether. So there's like forms and phrases and like ideas of things that are translated, not just word for word. Actually, because it's taken from French Sign Language, our sign languages, there's some words that aren't even in the English language that's in the American Sign Language. So for those words, signers use, like they spell it out with A, B, C, D, the hands. So I have a chart that has these different letters on them with the signs. So you can see like how they spell out things if you don't say it. And what's really cool about sign language is, I think, with names, because there's not a sign for a name. It's, you spell out the name when you first meet somebody who signs. And so they usually assign you a name. So when I was working with the special needs and the deaf ed at my school, they assigned R for Rachel, which is in there, and they put it up to my face for my glasses. So this was my sign for when they wanted to talk to me and to communicate with me. So I thought that was really interesting. So just to wrap up everything, sign language isn't only for the deaf people or mute or people who can't communicate. It's for those who need another form of communication. It's being the fourth most used language. Like a lot of people use it, and I think a lot of more people should pay attention to it and notice it going on around them, because it's such a beautiful and complex language. I think it's really important. So I'm going to teach everyone a sign. So on there, this is the I with your pinky, and this is the L, your thumb and pointer finger. This is the Y. So when you put them together, that's how you get the I love you. It's I-L-Y. I-L-Y.